I would argue for America for the next 20 to 50 years, there should be virtually zero immigration.
Right.
And I'm not talking about illegal. I'm talking about legal. No immigration.
Right.
If it's illegal, we need a wall. There need to be, and this is merciful, by the way. I'm not just trying to be unhinged. We need a wall. We need guys on that wall, standing on top of that wall. And if someone starts to approach the wall, there needs to be a warning, back away. If they don't listen to the warning, they need to be shot. They need to be killed. And my point in saying that is because that will be the more merciful option. Because what will end up happening is you'll have a handful of people that get killed, and then thousands of people that don't experience the misery of coming and then having to be removed, and families split up, and all this kind of stuff. That is the more merciful option. That is the way biblical justice is done.
If one or two die,
one is
from being
punished,
shot
and the
on
rest
wall,
stand in fear. That's the Bible's
that would be
model.
way fewer than the number that die of dehydration trying to cross the desert.
Amen.
What you just seen there is a pastor in Texas, Joe Webbin. This guy is talking about shooting migrants in order to deter them, and that there should be no immigration or anything in this country for the next 20 to 50 years or whatever he says, something to that test. This guy is a bigot. This guy is sexist, you name it. And he's behind a pulpit and teaching and has a platform, and this guy is not called by God. And if you don't believe me, listen to some more of his crazy talk.
In a just society, adulterers would be punished as criminals, and in some cases, Calvin would probably argue in many or most cases, the penalty would be capital punishment, in which case divorce would not be necessary because there would not be a spouse left living to divorce.
And that's him right there talking about adultery. Some of you may have seen that clip before, saying that, that the penalty should be death for adulterers. And it's not going to be the man. It's not going to be the man. It's going to be the women only. But if you don't think that that's crazy enough, let's take a look at this one.
In Israel, and this should be the law of the land in our country and every country still to this day. This is a timeless principle, a timeless universal truth. If you perjure yourself by bearing false witness, accusing somebody else, whatever the penalty would have been for that person, had they been found guilty, then that penalty should fall on your head for falsely accusing them. So if you accuse in a court of law, falsely accuse someone of murder, and it turns out in the final analysis that that person is not guilty of murder, and neither are you, but you falsely accuse them of murder, and the penalty for murder should be capital punishment, life for life, then you, even though you have not committed murder, because you falsely accused someone else for murder, and the penalty for that crime would have been death, you should be put to death. That's what the text is saying. And if that were to occur, and the just penalties were to be enforced, you, the false accuser, is now put to death, and that's a public death. It's a public sentence, publicly carried out. Then the citizens of these United States of America, you know what they would do? #MeToo would end real fast. How do you false accusing? Playing the victim when you're actually not? You know how to end that real fast? All you have to do is publicly execute a few women who have lied.
And that's him talking about putting to death a woman with a false accusation. See, there's an attack on women. We're going to talk about that in another video. But women don't even realize it, that they're walking into the slaughter with these folks. They think that it was all, the devil put a fast one on them. And they think that it's all about abortion and that's the issue. And that was the thing. No, these guys, these nationalist type people and this type of mindset that is going on within society now, they have a different goal for you women out there. And it's not pretty. It's not, and they want to make sure that you are put in your place and your time is up in their eyes. So that's a whole nother subject. But the problem is that this hate pastor, this guy right here, reason why I wanted to show you that, I don't know if you guys have seen this flyer right here. That's a flyer that's been going around Tennessee, Indiana, from the KKK running around. Let's take a look at the
A
clip.
disturbing discovery. People in neighborhoods all over the area waking up to Ku Klux Klan flyers calling for mass deportation of immigrants. WSBT 22 learning Goshen is one of the cities where it happened today. WSBT 22 Sean English at the live desks. Sean, you have reaction from people who found those flyers.
Well, Kentucky-based Trinity White Knights of the KKK claimed responsibility for distributing these. People in several communities were startled to see these flyers, especially in a diverse community like Goshen.
It was disturbing, and I walked the dogs afterwards, and these flyers were just scattered all over the road.
The flyers were first seen in Goshen Sunday evening, and even around noon today, I found more scattered throughout the neighborhood. Phil Waite found a few yesterday.
Like to have flyers like this in the open and targeted in this kind of way.
Some unfortunate news about hate being found in the lawns of Michiana residents. Over the weekend, many woke up to some disturbing flyers on display in their neighborhoods.
The flyers made their way all across Indiana, and new this evening we heard from the group that gave those flyers out. Some of those flyers were distributed right here in St. Joseph County, making it as far away as Hamilton County. Our Erica Jimenez is live from Erskine Boulevard and Ekman Street, where the flyers were given out. She joins us now live with more. Erica, what'd you find out?
Yeah, Lauren and Josh, before we went live, this elderly couple actually came up to me, showed me the flyer, and described how bad and weird it was for them to see that when they woke up on Sunday morning. I reached out to the email address that the flyer provided by the Trinity White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. The group called it an informative flyer. They claim responsibility in an email today and over the weekend to our newsroom. I'll read part of that statement, but first I want to talk to you about what neighbors saw on Sunday morning. Let's take you to some video. The flyers were placed on lawns, doorsteps, and cars. The flyer on your screen stated a mass deportation would take place January 20th, 2025. It encouraged migrants to, quote, leave now to avoid deportation, and even asked other community members to monitor and report them. This has many people on edge, especially with the current political climate, which is what the group mentioned to 16 News Now via email, saying how the American people have spoken following the elections. The group goes on to say, current situations, migrants are fleeing in droves to small towns like Springfield, Ohio, to bigger cities. We can only assure they are fleeing from Logansport, South Bend, Fort Wayne, and elsewhere.
And as you can see, the hate is they've come out of their corners. They've come out of the woodwork like never before. They've been lying dormant, some of them pop their heads up here and there, but now they feel free to really show their true colors and come out. And you're going to see it, and it's going to get worse. It came to my state over the last several days. Take a look.
George, good morning. The hate was right out in the open. So brazen, Ohio's governor felt compelled to respond. This morning, new surveillance footage of an armed group of men carrying flags emblazoned with swastikas marching through the streets of Columbus, Ohio. The troubling incident happening Saturday afternoon. Each person dressed head to toe in all black, masks concealing their faces. They shouted vile and racist speech against Jews and people of color. Ohio's governor denouncing the neo-Nazis, writing, "There is no place in this state for hate, bigotry, anti-Semitism, or violence."
That's right here in Ohio. The KKK marching and coming and shouting out, crazy stuff, based on my color and everything out. This is what you're seeing, and this is going to get worse. And unfortunately, there's a whole lot of believers that call themselves believers or whatever. That's what we're going to have to stick to. Call themselves believers that subscribe to death and harm and things coming upon migrants and people like this. It saddens my heart because, I've come to the conclusion, me and my family and things, we decided, we look at certain people in a different way now. People that have subscribed to this hate, that it's a different look. It's a different look. It's a shame because it's actually then entered into, I know families now are starting to have turmoil because of the hate and all of the things that is going on right now. And it's unfortunate. And I look at people that YouTube channels, the ministries that I thought was okay, they basically have subscribed to hate, and they're okay with people fearing for their life. I don't care. I mean, yes, you need to have immigration and, process and all of this legally and all of that. But as a Christian, that still does not give you, if somebody's illegal, does not give you a right to wish harm or death upon somebody. Who do you think you are? You're saved by grace. And you're fortunate that the Lord saved you, that the Lord allowed you to, that he has died for us, because he died for everybody, even these immigrants that are running for their lives and worrying about people threatening them and all of that. And that, it's bad enough that we all got certain worries that we have to worry about in life. But the last thing somebody needs to worry about is another Christian wishing harm and death upon somebody. And shame on any pastor, shame on any YouTube ministry, shame on any Christian or anybody that subscribes to that. Because that has shown the true colors. Many of you, you've seen the true colors of certain people. This has shown you. And unfortunately, this is what we have. They're running around and they didn't become emboldened. But it's like in my community, in the black community, the younger people, and it's nationwide, as far as this younger generation, they had this saying that we're not our grandparents or not our great-grandparents, because basically what they're saying is we ain't gonna take them all what they went through. We ain't gonna step back and let you take advantage and beat us and do whatever. We're gonna take it back to you. So that's their mindset. So these little KKK folks and all of them, they know where to go. They know where to go. They ain't going to, big cities, New Yorks, and places where there's a lot of they know where to go. They better stay. But unfortunately, the Midwest, and even in my state, this state has become, it's terrible in a sense. I grew up in Ohio. And it seemed to be great, but it has taken a dark turn over the last 10 years or so, this state. And it's gotten worse. And I was telling the wife, if it wasn't for my kids and my daughter in college and stuff, it'd be a possibility that we would pack up and leave this place, because it's just gotten worse. And it's getting worse. You have to stay within certain sectors of this city for sure, because you veer off too much, it's trouble. And unfortunately, that's what's then happened within the church. The church is in so much trouble. You can't go nowhere anymore. It's hard to find a decent church. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that in another message as well. Finding a church, because it's far and few at this stage, unfortunately, because you got so many people that have been hiding and masquerading as believers and masquerading as a leader, but their true colors have shown. And we see now how the way that they treat people like this, which lets me know that if you can treat strangers and treat anybody like that and come and want to bring harm and wish harm and all of that on other people, man, you don't give a darn about me. You don't give a darn about the community. You don't give a darn about nothing. You only concerned about yourself and your selfish, hateful ways. So we'll continue to shine the light on it. We'll continue to call it out. We'll continue to take the devil head on and punch him right in between the chops. Evangelism for God is the channel. My name is Maurice Braxton, so stay tuned. We're going to keep tackling it and going forward. Until the next video, my friends, take care. God bless.